No, 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 no. Bo, do, do, bo. Do, 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 do. Oh yeah. Nice fucking tie. What's wrong, Dutch? The CIA got you pushing too many pencils. This is so stupid. What's the matter? The CIA got you pushing too many pencils. All right, what's the deal when about 30 people show up? We get rid of the camera thing. So, whoop, whoa. It's kind of dark in here. We better fix that. Camera crew, could you bring up the house lights? Oh, yeah, come on now. There we go. That's fine. That'll do just fine. That'll do just fine. Oh, wait. Okay. Greetings, programs. My name's Ingrid Bernal. I'm hankering Furnail here with Runehammer, Drunken and Dragons, playing D&D just a little teeny weeny bit, a little bit more better than we used to. I just really noticed and realized, but there's a sock puppet on the wall. There's a sock puppet on the wall. That's not acceptable. That's not going to do. Hey, everybody. Welcome to a special live stream. It's Tuesday night on planet Earth. And I know, as usual, we're got some crazy things happening across the globe this week, like we seem to every stinking week. So before we get into anything, just want to say, anybody out there struggling with all these crazy situations that are unfolding, may you find a safety and wellness in the coming days. Good luck with all that crazy stuff. Let's get into the Runehammer junk, because that's what we're here for. D&D, that's what this is all about. That's the whole lair. It's a room, but I like to call it a lair, because when you call it a lair, that makes you Batman. Batman's a mulch, and a mulch is a benefit to your garden. Hi, guys. Hankering Furnail here. Welcome, everybody. And yeah, sock puppets, I mean, you feel a little weird when you're getting into them. You know, you find yourself, it's like a Sunday afternoon. You're not out with your friends. You're not playing kickball. You're in your house making a sock puppet, and you don't know why. Could be sign of a midlife crisis, or it could be because you're just that big of a badass. Oh. Delicious. Delicious. Crystal clear. Crystal clear. Hi, everybody. Okay, the reason that we are online is not to just do nonsense tonight. If you logged into the stream, you probably already noticed the silly-ass predator meme on the cover of the video today, which I think you could probably do the math. This is the big announcement. Modiphius, the RPG heavyweight, you might even say, who's probably one of their hugest accomplishments has been the Conan 2D20 series. Well, let's go back to the beginning. About 2 months ago, I got an approach on Facebook Messenger for some art commissions. Now, this happens all the time in my sort of daily sort of, work routine. I get people asking about doing custom artwork, and about 2/3 of them follow through and get the art made and get it paid for, and every once in a while, and 1/3 of them are just kind of asking, seeing what maybe the price would be, or maybe they don't quite have an idea yet. I must be allergic to awesome, because that's what this stream is. Anyway, so there's just this random sort of request comes in. I'm like, oh yeah, sure. I do stuff like this. I got a couple of weeks wait time, on doing the commissions for sure. And then there was a little bit of a delay, and I wasn't sure if this potential customer was going to follow through. And we're just like, oh yeah, well maybe, hey, I think I found this other thing, and I think I got it covered. And I was like, oh cool, well, have a good one. And this person, my new acquaintance, just like, hey, give me a holler if you're ever, interested in any kind of, really going all in on distribution and really getting your work out there. And I'm just kind of like, What? So as you guys know, everything that I've made on Runehammer has been print on demand, right? So Drive Through RPG has been my marketplace. I've done a little bit on Amazon, but also using print on demand. That basically means you make an order to get one of my books, and a bunch of robots get activated, and the robots make the book, make one copy of the book, and send it to you. And what this does is, this way you don't have to stockpile books. They get made as they're ordered. Now, as we all know, because I think everyone who tunes into Runehammer uses Drive-Through RPG, is that the quality on these books is not what you would hope it to be. The ink can rub off the pages. The spines almost always kind of give out after a couple years, and there are trim errors of the alignment of things sometimes. And this is not a fault of Drive-Through RPG. This is the fact that these are made on demand. This uses much more lightweight production equipment, right? And so basically that's where I have been dwelling. It's kind of an awesome kind of garage kind of op, right? It's like I get to control everything. The minute that I'm done with something, I can slam it in. I can, wait just briefly for the proof to come through, and then like people can start ordering it and all this kind of stuff. So for working in a garage by yourself, it's really hard to argue with. But now I'm coming into almost 5 years, if you can believe that. We're like 4.5 years of Index Card RPG being public. And it's really become more sticky and gone further than I had ever imagined it would go. It's become like an all-time bestseller. It's gotten all over the world. It's appearing now in 4, 5, 6 languages. And it just keeps going and gaining momentum. And so the more that this momentum grew, it also came with it some growing pains. And the biggest of these growing pains is the exact stuff I'm talking about, which Richard mentions right there, which is like the bigger and the more people I was reaching, the more that ICRPG was trying to, becoming what I had hoped it would be, these quality issues were becoming an issue. The other big one is shipping. So when you're doing something like print on demand from Drive-Through RPG, which is America based, there's a lot of like pain points for people around the world as far as the shipping. And also because these are kind of like one-offs. Anytime you ship something as a one-off, it's going to be more expensive. And shipping costs, as we all know from Drive-Through, can be a bit of a sting. Another thing is that when you're using Drive-Through RPG, you can't get in the friendly local game stores. And as this stinking, stupid pandemic comes to an end, which should happen any decade now, I hope, when it's over, we all want to get back in person and like stuff like that. And print on demand can't get there. Doesn't work that way. I can't get into doing cool retail things using print on demand. So there's all these limitations, even though it's super fun to build things out of your garage and just print them on demand. So, of course, in the back of my head, as things are growing and getting more exciting, and especially as these 2 newest offerings are coming up, which I'm about to drop a link right here in the chat stream. So don't blink right now, because the payout is about to hit here in the comments section. With these 2 new titles, I wanted to go all out. And so my original plan was to bootstrap the whole thing myself to get readers the vastly improved book quality. And I was going to do it the hard way. I was just going to make these things in very small runs and overpay for them and have really almost no margin on the damn things, and have to ship them myself, have super expensive shipping, especially internationally. But you know what? I was just going to do it that way because I really wanted to do the quality. So when a person out of the blue on the internet says, hey man, if you ever want to, get into this guy, and I was just kind of like, well, what do you mean? That sounds intriguing. It's like, yeah, and there's a little bit of like, your stuff is really cool, and I kind of am on the lookout for this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah. What do you mean? Turns out I'm talking to the founder of Modiphius. Modiphius, for those of you who are not familiar with it, is an RPG publisher, and it's sort of distributor is not a very exciting word, but it is a huge job to do. You're moving books all over the world, but doing it in a way that's efficient so that everybody can keep this sort of the workflow going. And so I suddenly realized, like, I've just been approached out of the blue by the founder of like one of my favorite. I mean, 2D20. It's not like I'm playing it every week, but those 2D20 Conan books are straight up legit. They're really well done. There's a lot of them. They all go together in the best way. They're really slick and really cool. And I knew that Modiphius had also helped Free League in their early lifetime, and also has some other really cool things like Octone Cthulhu going on. And then, of course, the new Dune RPG that's coming out to kind of go with the sort of resurgence of interest that's coming with the movie and everything. And like, this stuff is like legit. It's well done. And I'm being approached. I am not even like shopping around for this idea. So I'm kind of like, whoa, okay, well, I don't know. What does this entail? And it's taken 5, almost 6 weeks to basically break it down to what it entails. And it really is all about these 2 books that I'm about to release. But now I don't have to just bootstrap it out of my basement. I can reach the world and really kill it. So without further ado, I'm going to drop this link in the comments stream. So take a look to your right side of your feed there and check it out. There it is. If you grab that link, you can pop right over to the announcement page. And baboosh is all I can say on that one. Baboosh. I'm gonna have a gummy bear. See, gummy bears. When you're feeling good about life, you might as well just treat yourself to a couple gummy bears. Can you dig it? It's crazy, right? So I know a lot of you guys have thought I've been super quiet the last month and like being all really secretive, and that's really not my nature. I'm always just telling everybody exactly where everything is. But until everything was really buttoned up and the deal was sealed, so to speak, I had to stay quiet because, you know, I can't put them on the spot or anything like that. Yeah, thank you, everybody. So I had to stay quiet, which was, believe me, it was excruciating. This is the hugest evolution for Runehammer since I started. So to not be able to tell anybody about it was just like, nah, it's a complete freak out. My attention surplus syndrome was like through the roof. So the reason I wanted to do the YouTube stream to do the announcement tonight was partially just for fun. I mean, I'm absolutely mind blown that this is happening. It's really exciting. It's kind of getting in the big kids pool, honestly. It's like, I've been having a great time these past 5 years doing everything that I've been doing, but it really is nice to be approached from the outside as an acknowledgement of hard work and of stick-to-itiveness. And the more that I got to know Chris at Modiphius, he just seemed like such a great guy, and they seem like they have a really kind of cool op going on. And so we have a beer coming in our future as soon as we can travel a little easier and stuff like that. But yeah, and so now I want to talk about the reason I was doing a stream is I can talk about the details, right? And so first of all, let's talk about the books. So yeah, Braden, thanks a lot. So these books are they're kind of shoot the moon kind of books. So when I was coming into Viking Death Squad and coming into Index Card Master Edition, these are both books that I didn't really want to worry about making like a softback, like a paperback, to make a sort of an economy version. I wanted both of them to be sick as hell, especially after my investment in Old School Essentials. The book quality with Old School Essentials is such a payoff for groups that really play every week and are just tossing their books around and using the double bookmarks and stuff. And I think I had honestly not even really known that a book could be that tightly made and that well built. And it just, that made me change my mindset. Like, I really need to up my book quality game. And so those, the images there that you're seeing of those books, it should be reflecting this. We are really kind of sparing no expense. It does make the books more expensive than what I've offered in the past. So I've offered paperbacks in the past. So these are a little bit more, but you get that quality I just couldn't do before. So it becomes like an artifact on your shelf that really is part of your daily RPG life rather than something that's going to fall apart. So that's what the books are all about. We've got the Viking Death Squad book with like foil and everything, the double bookmarks. And then we've got the Index Card RPG hard copy the hardback. And then we're also going to have a collector's edition of Index Card RPG, which kind of really takes it to the top as far as like cool options that you can do for making the sickest book imaginable. I wasn't a huge fan of this stuff until I got Old School Essentials and I got the limited edition cover. And I don't know if I'm just a cheeseball or what, but I love it. I love it more than the color covers. I love my unique kind of, stamped black leather cover on my collector's edition of OSE. And I just hadn't really cheesed out on a book until that one. And that's what has been such a sort of seismic change for me as far as what I want to make and what I want to put out there and ask people to spend their hard-earned dollars on. And so the fact that Modiphius just swooped in Batman style when I was looking the other way is an insane amount of serendipity. I was literally weeks away from doing all this work myself. Okay, so now that's the books. So next, let's talk about the PDFs and everything. Okay, now a lot of you guys, and thousands of people around the world, know me for a PDF publisher. There's a huge PDF scene going. It's for good reason. They're easy to store and easy to use. You can just bang off the 2 pages you actually need. They're fantastic. So the PDF, obviously for Viking Death Squad, it's less of an issue. But with Index Card RPG, the PDF you're going to get, if you've ever bought the core system for ICRPG, you're going to get a small sort of first portion of Master Edition for free so that you're playing on the latest core rules. Okay, so that's the first step. That's a promise I've made to all my readers. So anyone who has ever bought ICRPG core will get the new core. It's going to be a subset of Master Edition. Now, if you want to get the full PDF of Master Edition, there's 2 ways to do it. And it's the same with Viking Death Squad. And this is super important. And this is what I would like everybody here to tell your friends. Thanks, John. That's awesome. What I want you to tell your friends is the way that we're releasing this is we're going to do a pre-sale next week. When you buy into the pre-sale, you get the hard book when the printing is done, and you immediately get the full PDF. Immediately. About 2 weeks after that pre-sale occurs, the PDFs will be up, as they always are, on DriveThruRPG. Now, the reason that this is done this way is that the pre-sale is how these companies gauge how much interest something's going to be, and they start making estimations and even expanding how many books they're going to print. And the more books we print, the better the prices, and the more that everything improves. Also, like my standing sort of with them as a partner improves. And so what I want everybody here to tell your friends is, if you're interested in either of these 2 books, the time to show up is the pre-sale. I'm going to do everything I can in the next week from today till next Tuesday to get the word out about the pre-sale as hard as possible. We need to break the internet with this pre-sale, because then it sets a lot of nice wheels in motion. It is the lubricant for a really good publishing run on a book, is people show up to buy the book and get the PDF right away. Now, if you only want the PDF, probably the best idea is to just wait the 2 weeks until they come up on DriveThruRPG. So they're going to be coming up on DriveThruRPG a little ways into September. I don't know the date. Does anyone know the date? Yeah, it'll be right at the beginning of September. Yeah. So that pre-sale. So keep an eye on my Gram and on my Discord, all the other stuff, Twitter that you guys normally keep up with me. And when that pre-sale's coming, we're really going to try to spread the word and hit that mofo like an avalanche and really set this thing in motion like the party that it should be. So for those of you who want to get the pre-sale, get the hardback when it comes out, but get the PDF right away, you're styling. You're going to be playing Viking Death Squad and Index Card Master Edition next week. So those of you who are digital users who also eventually want the print, the wait is just about over. So I know a lot of folks are pecking at me. Believe me, it's a daily excruciating experience. So many people are asking me, where's Master Edition? When's it going to be out? I'm kind of delaying this, that, or the other game because I'm waiting for Master Edition to kind of lock it down. Or I'm dying over here to try to play Viking Death Squad. I just want to, play it off the PDF and get the book whenever it comes out. When's it going to be out? And I'm just like, I can't really talk about that yet. So the wait is just about over. Thanks, John. I really appreciate that. The cost of the books I think, will continue to be tweaked. But ICRPG Master Edition is colossal. It's 408 pages, I think. It's all the stuff combined. And I think we're going to come in at a price that's going to compete with your average, like, WotC source book. Now, Viking Death Squad is a smaller book. It's coming in, I think, at about 140 pages, but it has some more bells and whistles on how it's built. So I don't think I want to announce prices yet, but they're standard prices, I think, that aren't going to shock anybody, that are a lot like old school essentials prices. And then the collector's edition, like, getting your pricing to feel just right is something that we're going to, constantly be fine tuning these knobs. So I don't want to holler too much about it, but I feel great about the pricing. I think a lot of you guys know that I'm not like a gougy kind of person. I'm not like really into that kind of stuff. So we went for the fairest price we could possibly get and still make sure that it was all worth all these people's hard work to get these books out to the world. So that's another crazy thing, is that Modiphius has this distribution network to like a zillion game stores. So not only do Viking Death Squad and ICRPG Master Edition find their way into the game stores, if we can kill it on the pre-sale, and if you guys continue to show up like you have been for Runehammer, we can start to do cooler things like get card supplements and other cool sort of peripheral products into the game stores where they belong, including some of the sort of further ambition items like Runehammer dice and stuff like that, and see exactly how far this rabbit hole can go. So the last thing I really want to talk about before I just sort of open up the floor for Q&A, just hang on a minute there, Dominic. It's sort of what's going on creatively here. I really wanted to just come clean with everybody, so to speak. First of all, Index Card Master Edition was something that really is breaking ground for me, which is to stop being creative for just a damn minute and actually do revision and abridgment and compression and brevity and cleanup and improvement. I am not good at that side of the brain. Honestly, I'm terrible at it. But we have spent now the last 6 weeks proofreading and proofreading and proofreading again to get this thing dialed. As some of you guys know, some of my books have these funny little foibles that are frustrating when you're making, print books. It's easy to fix in a PDF, but those funny foibles, they are always scratching the back of your brain. We've proofread this thing into freaking oblivion. My man, Lon Prater, thank you so much. He is a savage. He's literally a military grade proofreader. So an insane amount of revision has gone into both Viking Death Squad and Master Edition, more than I've ever done in the past. And so that's exciting. Master Edition represents, in some ways, the kind of the definitive moment as far as all the sort of loosey-goosey confusion of Index Card RPG and its multiple forms and worlds and all this stuff into one really tight book. And that's a very different creative space than Viking Death Squad, which is in its infancy. This is its sort of debut appearance. It's its core rule book. And I'm already working on a sequel for Viking Death Squad, a second book that takes the storyline after the first storyline. And on that note, sort of one of the final big things that I wanted to say, the table of contents, Chris, has already been shared on the Runehammer Discord. I think it's been shared on the Runehammer Patreon as well, which is $1 a month. I mean, it's hard to argue with $1 a month. What was that final tidbit? Oh, it was so tasty. Oh, yeah. And this is probably one of the most exciting parts, is that this is the beginning of the alliance between Runehammer and Modiphius. This is the first thing we're doing. We're already planning on the Viking Death Squad follow-up and other ideas in the future. So it really is like a partnership between us. And it's just one more reason I really want to hit a home run with this bad boy so that that partnership kicks off to a roaring start. So in the next week, help me spread the word about this pre-sale. And I think it's going to be great. I really think the quality is going to go up. The reach is going to go up. And the more that stuff happens, the less I sort of need to spend time on doing, like spot work, like commissions and stuff, which really do pull a lot of time away from just trying to run games and sort of press the envelope, so to speak, which is what my patrons love me doing the most. So yeah, this is going to keep going. And probably in the coming weeks, be revealing some more stuff up to the moment of the pre-sale, some more pages from the interiors and kind of talking about it. And then once these PDFs are out, we're going to be talking on YouTube about playing Viking Death Squad and like how it plays and the foibles of the design and getting used to it, how to GM it like a boss and stuff like that. I really hope that Viking Death Squad can stick around for a while. A lot of work went into making a sort of a lasting system, in many ways inspired by West End games, Star Wars, but sort of twisting how the numbers get used and how you sort of stack and unstack. So I think you guys will see that when it's all sort of revealed. And that's about it. So that should cover most of the building blocks of this insane announcement. And by the way, I'm seeing everything y'all are saying in the comments. Thank you so much for all the love. I really appreciate it. I'm just not like responding to each one of them. I think my head would explode. So yeah, if any of you have any questions about this release or what's going on with this sort of alliance between the two of us, like now's the time. But holy crap. Yeah. As someone who just started out like just about everybody, like in the living room, using popcorn as goblins. This is awesome. Lee now, will the print books include a tear out page to make a paper dragon? No, but you're jumping into my next thing, which is my papercraft zine, which will be coming in September. The first issue is in September. But yeah, those cool old tear outs with the heavier paper in the back are really cool. That's really fun direction to go. Yeah, Dominic. So ICRPG originally started as 400 just drawings. That's all it was, just drawings. But they aren't necessarily like what ICRPG is. It's really index card RPG is a mindset of using a Sharpie and index cards to create everything. The art cards, they're still available on Drive-Thru-RPG, but they really aren't the truth of what it is. They're kind of just a suggestion. One thing that will be coming out with Master Edition it's called the ICRPG Mega Deck. It's the 100 most loved and most used art cards from the 400 collection. So the most useful of them on poker cards in a nice little tuck box. So you don't have to do all that printing and cutting yourself. And eventually, me and Modiphius hope to distribute some really fun peripheral stuff. Are there dramatic rules differences with Master Edition? I wouldn't say they're dramatic rules differences, but they're just so much better in their execution and clarity and consistency in not bringing about accidental questions. The biggest rule change, it's probably a D4 dying timer. It's armor is now defense, and so your armor and your defense are kind of have a little bit of a line of separation there. Defense is kind of a more versatile stat. So, people who like heavy armor in the game, I felt they were really quite neglected. And then a cleanup, combining and consistency through all 5 of the core worlds. A complete revamp of the magic system from the magic book that also is consistent and perfectly fits in with all other systems, including the superhero system. So they all are unified in an extremely tight way. And that is the dramatic change. Does the card game play in at all? If you mean Ironheart, no, not at all. Ironheart is its own crazy little thing on the side. What are the stacks of books? Oh, well, like these are my Legacy of Mud novels. These are, that's the Green Knight box set. These are my other Runehammer novels. This is a couple copies of Retune. And then you've got Call of Cthulhu, West End Games Star Wars. And then you have the Grimoire of Tiamat. I've got the Tomb of Black Sand. Yeah, and then a couple old journals. Pre-sale next week. Yeah, and if you don't want to get in on the pre-sale, Nicholas, which you totally should, Yeah, PDFs will be 2 weeks after. Another thing I failed to mention is that shipping is going to be so much more affordable now using Modiphius for everyone, US and world, because Modiphius can ship from the UK or US. So these crazy shipping prices from drive-through will no longer be an issue. Victor, you order the books from Modiphius, sir. So when the pre-sale happens, the link will be all over the place. It is next week. Are you planning to release some index cards for Viking Death Squad? Viking Death Squad has a poker deck as well as a sort of a visual aid. So Viking Death Squad is a very unconventional world. It's not just like Star Trek or like sword fantasy. It's takes you a minute to get your head around it because it's kind of out there. It's heavy metal and it's weird. And so the poker deck that you can get through drive-through is like a visual aid that can be used at the table. So that is coming out too. I mean, so many wheels and cogs have been coming together. It's just crazy. Hell yeah, Brian. Thanks, man. Where do we get the t-shirts for Viking Death Squad? The t-shirts right now are on FOMO base only. So I ordered 50 of them, and they're also the super quality, like mega comfy ones. None of that boxy garbage. They were quite expensive. I think they're going to mainly go to my editors first, and then I'll have several left, and I'll maybe save them for cons. Maybe put them up on the Runehammer store. I'm not quite sure what to do with those yet. The same with the Runehammer stickers or the Viking Death Squad stickers. They're a little bit in limbo, but they're kind of sitting there. I also have 100 D4s right down there. There's 100 D4s made by Mono Makes for me, and I'm going to be sending those out when I start shipping things to people just for fun. Late to the stream. Who approached who? I'm not going to go back to the beginning, but Modiphius came to me. Conan collab. I haven't gotten in. The Conan team has zillions of amazingly talented people on it. I'm not frankly that interested in doing another IP. So I would just let them keep doing fantastic Conan work. No, Atris. Viking Death Squad is the same size as like the Burning Wheel book, so 5x8, and the index card Master Edition will be the same dimensions as your other index card RPG books, just thicker and more well made. So I don't really have any interest in large format books pretty much ever. So yeah, I live in the digest kind of mindset. Are those the large D4s? Yeah, they're the crystal style ones. I've completely switched to the crystal style ones. I don't know why they were ever pyramids in the first place. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, thanks a lot, Louis. I appreciate that. Andrew, do you have updates on the con? Yeah, we keep trying, and it's very difficult to do the logistics on this stuff, and COVID is just not gone. So there's almost really nothing to talk about until this world can unify a little bit and get over COVID. Correction, Modiphius no longer ships to Brazil. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know what's going on there. You got to call your local legislator. That is indeed off topic. No, I just cracked my Necromold set. Did this partnership absorb the ideas you had for your new website? Partially. It wasn't going to be it was just going to be a store. But yeah, I was thinking about trying to do e-commerce on my own. I mean, I don't have the biggest readership in the world, but it's big enough that it would have been a serious logistical challenge. So this is huge. I would still like to toy around with some direct sales though on the Runehammer site for oddball limited things like the Viking Death Squad t-shirts. I think that'd be fun to sell 20 t-shirts on the store as a little micro sale that happened really quick and keep those items really limited so that we're not spending all our time in the basement, packing packages. When you're getting famous, who will you thank first in your acceptance speech? Probably DM Scotty. He's first in the Index Card Master Edition credits. Scotty was the personality that kind of lifted me up out of the swamp and made me feel really welcome and comfortable in the not only the YouTube environment, but when I was beginning publishing and just finding my voice. DM Scotty's the shit. He's Yoda. Any details on Master Edition, Collector's Edition? Yeah, it has 2 bookmarks. It's got a super high-end cover with like a foil emboss in it and these cool end papers inside of it, and it's really neat. I want Clinton. No, do not wait. Here's this question already. Do not wait. The pre-sale determines the fate of everything. So when the pre-sale pops up, there may be all 3 options there. So just stay tuned in and wait for that pre-sale to pop up, and we will really try to get the word out. Yeah, thanks, Geek Chef. Yeah, I still like Drive-Thru RPG. I'm gonna still keep using it for card decks, and I'm gonna lean way into it for my papercraft zine. So I think just the only thing that I don't like from them has been their books. Even the Amazon print-on-demand ones I like better. So that part I'll probably lean away from. But as far as digital and card decks, I love their card decks. They're great. Atris, right on, man. If I want to get my friends hyped for Viking Death Squad, yeah. There is not a video yet, but this is all going to be releasing in the next week. Like all the info and all the cool promotional little jibby jabs are going to be popping up all over the place to get this pre-sale to bang. So right now, all they can do is see little previews of pages. You can go to vikingdeathsquad.online. There's some tracks posted up there, which are kind of meant to be background music. There is a Viking Death Squad album that's going to be coming out on Spotify in September so that you can mix it right into your other Spotify playlists that you use at your table. But how do you get them hyped? I guess just introduce them to the idea. I think the idea of an RPG based on a single song by Black Sabbath has a lot of intrigue and interest in it. And I hope that thanks to all the smart people that helped me on it, it really not only delivers on that, but has sticking power as a system that reveals itself in layers as you play. I'll be doing like signed and numbered things when cons come back, and maybe do a super limited kind of thing, like I said on my store, like 10 of them or something. But yeah, I don't really have a practical way to do that on a large scale. Jake, they'll be sold separately because I don't think just coming out of the gate with a bundle is very traditional and very normal. So if we reach some point where bundles are a thing, that would be fantastic, but I don't think that's going to be the default. Yeah, and Andrew Strickland, thank you. So the art in Viking Death Squad, there is something crazy like 170 pieces of original art in there. I did all of it on the Remarkable tablet, really using almost no Photoshop at all, which was a huge challenge. I don't really want credit for the challenge per se, but I'm really proud of the artwork and the craftsmanship that went into the artwork in Viking Death Squad. It was real labor of love, like each piece taking 4 to 6 hours. So if you think about it, if someone commissioned me to do the art in Viking Death Squad, it would be 170 times 4 hours. That's about 700 hours. Like no customer would ever commission that. You'd be crazy. I've been working on it for a year straight, basically, the art. I've been working on the game design of Viking Death Squad for 3 and some years, almost 4 years. So it's just, I don't know, the whole thing is just, woo, now that I'm telling everybody on the internet, I'm starting to get a little hot, starting to warm up a little bit. Yeah, thanks, Dominic. If you stay tuned to Instagram, and I'll be popping up more teasers of art from Viking Death Squad in the coming week. Yeah, this hype is fantastic. Thanks, Lee. Appreciate that. Vacation. Hey. Every day I'm on my vacation because I love my occupation. Hey. So yeah, that's the big deal that I've been holding out on everyone about. And if you really are sort of a fan of the stuff that I do, this really should be good news. This is going to be better quality, more availability, and better prices. The book prices might seem higher than what I was offering before, but the shipping is going to be so much better. And also, I think it may be the first hint that Runehammer might be around. Like, You know, when you're doing your own business, you have no idea what's around the next corner. It could just be a drop off. You know what I'm saying? At any minute, just sales could just stop. So getting this bigger access to a bigger audience, it expands my reach to all humans in all kinds of ways. So I think it's just going to go to more and more fun places, and more people to talk to every week on Instagram messages and like even through email. I'm randomly slinging emails with people all over the planet like on the weekly. It's kind of crazy. It's honestly hard to tell people about it because it's just so wacky and they're kind of all over the map. Glyphosate question. What would you say changing the most between the first time you ran VDS? Oh man. First of all, letting it be its own system was a huge step. Second of all, accepting that it could really be a unique world and not a kind of just a little cartoony joke like Thundar kind of a feeling, you know, like the first one that I ran at the con was really just meant to be sort of funny. It's just like base jumping Vikings jump out of orbit and they go like throw tanks at Lucifer and battle Lucifer. And then one player at the end of the game always puts on the little horns and becomes Lucifer and tries to kill everybody. And then this giant iron coffin falls from orbit and destroys Earth. And that's the end. And it just seems silly, but it just gained more and more momentum. It just wouldn't go away. People were always asking me about it. I was kind of thinking about it, and it just grew into its own entity. So by the time we're playing in its own system, it was just vastly different feel. Yeah, I'm moving in September. That's a good point, Alistair. The better the pre-sale does, the sooner the physical books get printed and shipped. So again, killing it on the pre-sale prioritizes everything and it all gets done. So that's why spreading the word is like everybody kind of wins. Thanks, Anchorin. Yeah, Michael, dude, what's up? Thank you. Hey, appreciate that. Is there going to be an ICRPG OGL? There already is, Dave. ICRPG and its core mechanics and concepts are all protected by and available for use under the Creative Commons license. If you want to get the full details on that, go to forums.runehammer.online. We have a post there that gives you all the legal data on exactly what you do to make content for Index Card RPG. There's a lot of fan-made content out there for ICRPG, and we would love to have more. Thanks a lot, Sven. In Blades, yeah. John is always creeping around on these streams lately. John Harper in the dark. Explains why the mechanics are the way they are. Yeah. Absolutely. I don't think Death Squad is quite as tightly married as Blades in the Dark. Blades in the Dark is basically infamous for how tightly it takes mechanics and weds them to the themes. The themes and the mechanics, they are one, right? In Viking Death Squad, I think the mechanics create the feel that I wanted in the game, but they aren't so explicitly thematic because Viking Death Squad has a lot of different feels to it. It can be a very sort of frail, kind of low fantasy kind of game. It can be like a very gun-toting kind of game. It can be an almost indestructible kind of a almost Warhammer-like world. There's a lot of, and there's like forest parts to it. There are insects. There are vehicles. There's space. It's just zany. So I feel, and I hope that it was done in a way that it's multi-thematic within its world. I think one of the coolest things of Blades in the Dark is that it's so focused on theme, the heist theme, and the sort of shady theme that goes, it's just super tight. I think that's why it gets the notoriety that it gets. Viking Death Squad is a little more open and so has a little bit more open system. Again, like I mentioned, if it was inspired by anything, it would be West End Games Star Wars. But it doesn't work like they work. It doesn't use numbers in the same way, but a lot of it, some of the same feeling to how things grow and evolve. I'm going surfing next weekend. Yeah, man, when you catch, remember, always do that. That's your first move. You got to get their hands on the back of the board, and the first thing you do when you're catching, shove that sucker down with all your weight. Tail of the board goes under. That's how you catch that sucker. I have no future plans for Warmaker. As I predicted, my access to the wargaming community is non-existent. I just needed to do Warmaker to scratch an itch. The itch was scratched. There is a small community of folks out there playing it, but I just wanted to have fun doing it. It was almost like a hobby project. So I think I kind of knew that was a little bit of a dead end. Just basically was just having fun. And trying to take my patrons in different directions. My patrons really do pay most of my bills. So I'm always trying to sort of surprise and delight them with new culinary delights from my book of recipes. Okay, yeah, great. There we are. If we're getting into surfing discussions, this stream has probably reached its informational saturation. So you guys, me and Modiphius are teaming up for Master Edition of Viking Death Squad. Both books are going to go up for pre-sale next week. You get the pre-sale for the hard copy, you instantly get the PDF, and you can be playing with your homies by next weekend. That's the plan. If you're not into the hard copies, maybe they're too expensive, or maybe you're just a PDF person, then wait a couple weeks after the pre-sale. When the pre-sale kind of comes off of its opening blast, I'll be putting the PDFs up on DriveThruRPG like I always do. So that is that. In the next 7 days, I need all y'all to rally up. We need to squad this biatch up. We got to squad it up and get the word out about this pre-sale. This pre-sale is like the gateway into the next chapter of my existence. Spam man, where can I get my free hardback copy? You're gonna have to kick a guy in an alley. You're gonna have to put a bunch of quarters in a sock. You're gonna have to sneak up on one of these law-abiding citizens here and right on the back of the noodle, right here. Then and then pick up the book, just grapple gun. That's the way. That's how you do it. Okay, you guys, I'm going to let you back to your week. It's only Tuesday. Get out there, have a beer, and thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for all the love and congratulations. Yes, I will absolutely be streaming on Friday with my normal campaign report. We had session 17 last night, but I'll save all that for Friday night. Thanks you guys for hanging out. As always, thanks for the help spreading the word ahead of time in this coming week. This is going to be awesome. Super psyched. So, y'all have a good week, and I'll see you on Friday night. All right, later. And thanks for stopping by, John, Monomakes, PDM, all y'all crazies. Good to have you guys every time, all the time. So keep it real. Don't steal, and you're always gonna get a deal. All right, strength, you guys. I'll see you on Friday. Oh yeah. Hey.